is actually before my time.
Right.
It's a winner, though.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top things you missed in The Last of Us Episode 4.
When do we tell the others?
Not yet.
For this list, we're looking at the best references, Easter eggs, and foreshadowing from the 4th installment in the post-apocalyptic series. If you haven't seen the first 4 episodes or played The Last of Us games, beware of major spoilers ahead. Which of Ellie's jokes was the most pun-derful? Let us know in the comments below. The movies on the marquee parallel Joel and Ellie's lives. While the lead duo is driving through Kansas City, they drive past a theater with 2 appropriately timed 2003 film releases. Moviegoers had the option to see both Underworld and Matchstick Men. Each film contains parallels to the leads. In Underworld, protagonist Celine tries to protect a guy named Michael after he's bitten by a werewolf.
No one's ever survived a bite from both species. And by rights, I'd stop the car and kill you myself right now.
Then why are you helping me?
I'm not!
It turns out that he is a unique case that people either want to slay or use. The plot setup of having an important person who's bitten being protected by a hardened warrior perfectly describes Ellie and Joel's dynamic.
Rule 2. You don't tell anyone about your condition. They see that bite mark? They won't think it through, they'll just shoot you.
On the opposite end, Matchstick Men revolves around a con man trying to pull off schemes while connecting with a young girl who technically isn't his daughter. While Joel tries harder to connect with Ellie, he reveals that he has a history of being a con man.
How did you know it was an ambush?
I've been on both sides.
We guess the pair can skip the trip to the movies because their lives very much mirror the marquee films. Joel's hearing loss was subtly hinted at before. The very observant Ellie was able to pick up on the fact that Joel has experienced hearing loss in his right ear.
The reason I asked whether you'd hear the glass or not is because I've noticed you don't hear too well from your right side.
While we don't know what made her come to that conclusion, there are a couple of moments in previous episodes that point to this reveal. When Joel is sleeping in his apartment, he sleeps with his left ear up. It's only when Tess comes in that he feels secure enough to switch sides. Additionally, Joel is surprised by attackers that approached him on his right side multiple times. This subtle running detail may become more important in crucial action scenes and plot points going forward.
Thing is I didn't hear that guy coming. He shouldn't have had to.
Calling pop culture superfans everywhere. Do you love to argue with WatchMojo's top 10 ranks? Introducing WatchMojo's first and very own party game. Bring your superpowers to the table and fight for your pick to be at the top of the list. It's all the fun of the comment section, but in real life. Don't look up where you've seen Kathleen's actress before.
They put a gun to my head.
There. Have I satisfied the necessary conditions for you to talk?
In Episode 4, we're introduced to a brand new franchise character named Kathleen. The determined survivor comes off as a brutal leader who is out for revenge no matter what the cost. Before playing this role, actress Melanie Lynskey appeared in the apocalyptic comedy drama Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. She would later nab an even bigger role in another world-ending film that balanced laughs and tears. During Don't Look Up, Lynskey played June, the wife of Leo's Dr. Mindy.
So boring.
Oh, it's so boring. You want to skip the part where you feel bad for screwing my husband.
While she didn't hold anyone at gunpoint in that film, she still didn't tolerate disrespect. We're excited and a little scared to see what she's capable of in a more serious apocalyptic role.
Find every collaborator and kill them all.
The episode highlights an important franchise song.
Does this make you all nostalgic?
This is actually before my time.
Right.
It's a winner, though.
During Joel and Ellie's road trip, they get enough downtime to listen to Alone and Forsaken by Hank Williams. This scene was inevitable due to the song's significance across the franchise. One of the very first trailers for The Last of Us used the track to underscore glimpses at the story and gameplay mechanics.
The roses have faded, there's frost at my door. The birds in the morning don't sing anymore.
After intriguing prospective players, the song was played within the first narrative as the duo drove towards Pittsburgh. The track was used once again for one of the full trailers for the show itself.
You keep her alive. And you said everything right.
Since the lyrics focus so heavily on mourning things that have been lost, this song is a perfect match for the crumbling world of The Last of Us, dropping breadcrumbs about society's downfall. It was fun to get a blink-and-you'll-miss-it glimpse at an Arby's sign an episode after Bill made a funny and confusing reference to the fast food chain.
If I feed you, then every bum you talk to about it is going to show up here looking for a free lunch. And this is not an Arby's.
Well, Arby's didn't have free lunch. It was a restaurant.
However, it was far from the only food name drop in the story. While Ellie and Joel are on the highway, they see a sign advertising names like Subway, IHOP, and Denny's. Those three establishments and more could have easily spread the cordyceps fungal infection if they cooked their staples with contaminated flour in 2003.
Best guess, cordyceps mutated. Some of it got into the food supply, probably a basic ingredient like flour or sugar.
If that wasn't a big enough reminder of how that ingredient ruined the world, the Sara Lee bread truck that blocks Joel and Ellie's pathway should do the trick. The flower-themed vehicle is also indirectly the reason why the duo loses their vehicles and nearly dies. At least the ingredients used to make Joel and Ellie's Chef Boyardee meal remained untainted by fungi.
What am I even eating?
That is 20-year-old Chef Boyardee ravioli.
That guy was good.
I actually agree.
Ellie's shot could have been deadlier. As soon as it looks like Joel might be strangled by an enemy, Ellie decides to use her stolen gun to save her ally.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's over. We're not fighting anymore. I'm gonna go home. I'll tell everyone you're good.
Although this mirrored a similar scene in the game, there were a couple of major differences. Ellie's gunshot actually kills the random villain in the source material. In the immediate aftermath of the incident, Joel seems frustrated and angry with her.
And you just hang back like I told you to.
Well, you're glad I didn't, right?
I'm glad I didn't get my head blown off by a goddamn kid.
Since Ellie's shot wasn't fatal on the show, he finishes the job in live action. Joel is also much gentler and proceeds to check in on Ellie in the wake of her life-saving actions. This plot change may have been made to make the moment where the young survivor is pushed to take a life hit viewers hard.
I mean, it was my fault. You shouldn't have had to. And I'm sorry.
Joel and Ellie met Henry and Sam under slightly different circumstances. Throughout the episode, the villains do a great job of slowly building up Henry and Sam as resourceful survivors who can stay ahead of an army of enemies.
They're out of food. Henry won't let Sam starve. Double the guards around our provisions.
After hearing exciting exposition about them, they silently ambush Joel and Ellie in the middle of the night. This first encounter is a bit more subtle than it is in the source material. Within the game, Joel enters an apartment during the day before he's suddenly ambushed by Henry. The older survivor actually gets the upper hand before Sam aims a gun in his direction.
Joel, stop! Look!
Leave him alone.
Despite this rocky introduction, the two duos end up working together to escape the city before tragedy strikes and rips them apart. We're still holding out hope that the differing introductions might hint that Henry and Sam's endings will also be altered and they'll get a happy ending on the show.
Joel. Joel!
Joel is closer to Tommy than he thinks.
Who did this?
We think it was outsiders. We found a truck loaded. It's not a Fedra vehicle, but they were heavily supplied. Could be mercs.
One of the most surprising and welcome additions to the cast this week was the militaristic character Perry. The strict survivor is played by Jeffrey Pierce. Around 10 years before the actor took on this role, he played a little character in the Last of Us franchise named Tommy Miller.
So why'd you leave Boston?
I've been on quite the adventure, little brother.
I reckon it's got something to do with that girl.
He was excellent at portraying Joel's troubled yet well-meaning brother in the games. We have a strong feeling that Pierce will not get along with Pascal's version of the character on the show. Even if their meeting ends up with one of them meeting a brutal fate, we are fully ready for the voice of Tommy to collide with the live-action Joel.
When do we tell the others?
Not yet.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.